Welcome to Leichhardt Oval for our top Saturday league clash between Balmain and Souths. It's a still overcast day but fairly warm. Despite the gap between the two teams on the competition points table, today's game should be quite a contest because their styles are so different. It's Souths with 18 tries from 4 games with their skill and speed in attack against the rugged and determined persistence of Balmain in defence. Which style will prevail on the day, we'll know shortly. Well, the Tigers seem to have found their desired combination with Gary Jack at fullback, Wayne Innes on the wing and Gary Bridge at pivot alongside a potential match winner in halfback Steve Martin. This is the same side which defeated Easts last week, except that number 11 Kerry Hemsley replaces the injured Steve Lavers. Souths have fielded this same 13 for all 5 of their matches this year, and this lack of disruption has enabled them to develop amazing precision and teamwork. The 6 forwards hunt as an inseparable pack. The halfback combination has a quality of destructive devastation about it. The three-quarter line has pace to burn and uncanny understanding, while Steve Walsh is the most consistent and yet underrated fullback in the competition. When they met in the first round last year, Souths won fairly comfortably by 27-12 at Redfern Oval, but here at Leichhardt, Balmain won the return match by 13-10. Well, can the home ground advantage sway the result once more? Referee Jack Danzy. And Balmain winning the toss. South Sydney kick off through Melrose. He puts it deep down to fullback Gary Jack. And he's going to put it straight back down to South Sydney. Fullback Walsh waits. That's Whittaker. He ran around. Taken by second rower Trevor Ryan. Mark Ross dummy half. Terry Regan, number 9, the Caltex Country Player of the Year last year in New South Wales. Stewart, Murray. Peter Smith from the second row. Stewart, Metcalf. Stewart, Hambley. Murray. Lock forward Robert Simpkins will see the end of 6 tackles against South Sydney.
Well, quite a attractive opening to the game. Obviously, Balmain not wanting to play the game in their own territory with Gary Jack kicking that ball deep. And at this stage, well, it's an important scrum win to South, the first of the game, and that gives South possession and the opportunity to get deep into Balmain's territory.
Simpkins, Stewart, Murray, Patterson, Smith. Coming in for his attention, but will play it. Melrose, former Australian Rugby Union international, left Randwick Rugby Union to go to Parramatta, had 2 seasons there before coming to Souths. Niscott. Quick passing, Patterson to Brennan. Walsh. And Rampling getting his first touch. That's Stewart. Pat Murray. Out on the far side, Simpkins. Got under a swinging arm there that was thrown by Kerry Hemsley, who's going to be called out. We might be able to pick that up again. With Kerry Hemsley moving in for the tackle, and Robert Simpkins was just short enough to get under that swinging arm from Hemsley's. And here it is. And you'll notice Hemsley, number 11, there goes the swinging arm and just going over the top. Souths have taken play down to the quarter line. And it's been dropped by Simpkins. Balmain on their own quarter line. Hemsley. Whittaker. Martin. Regan. Gary Jack. Back to Whittaker, the skipper. Martin. Out to the centres. Miranda getting it to Wigham again. Dangy didn't see Wigham push to the ground. He was looking the other way at the defensive line, but play will continue. 20 metres inside Balmain's territory, no score yet. Regan, second rower kicking. Not a bad one either. Found an open space and it's taken Walsh and Niscott right back near the goal line. Now winger Mark Ross has got down there. And Wayne Innes can't take him. To
Walsh. To Niscott. Murray. 5'8" Mick Patterson is 20 metres inside South's half. To Stewart. Murray. Crashing run from Peter Smith.
He's getting very deep, Peter Smith, and running onto that ball, and there's a danger to that Balmain defence.
Melrose looking for the touchline, and he'll find it. Good kick. He got maximum distance with that kick, driving Balmain back, and he's found touch about 20 metres out from the Balmain line. Good kick from the former rugby union player.
Certainly led off there for Balmain. A good scrum win to Neil Whittaker. South's defence very keen to get up on their opposition, not giving Balmain any room to move whatsoever.
Regan. Centre of his own quarter line, playing it to Bridge. Martin. Miranda went past him, and Wayne Wigham got a heavy shoulder bump there. Smith making sure he stayed down. Hemsley. Look at that tackle from Smith.
South's a bustling Balmain, really forcing the Balmain attack back.
Well, here's a break made, and it's a lovely pass. It's gone out for an overlap situation, and winger Davidson not able to take it. Neil Pringle, who could possibly be used as a replacement later on. Here's that good work from Balmain.
Yes, it was against the play too, because the South's inside backs, Gary Bridge making a very good break there, and Davidson unfortunately unable to get hold of the ball.
And back live, we've seen a scrum penalty go to South Sydney 10 metres inside Balmain's half, and they'll kick for touch on this western side. Not a bad crowd here today either.
I think the lesson learned in that last movement was that Balmain can make the breaks out wide. Where we did see close in tight there, the South defence very rugged indeed. But if Balmain let that ball go, then they could easily make the breaks out wide.
That's Rambling. Bumped away from the tackle of Webster, was held down by Whittaker. That's Stewart. Whittaker coming together. To Rampling. Murray. Hambley. Two second rowers, Ryan and Regan, the tacklers. Stewart, Murray, Patterson. Past Melrose, and it's gone to Brennan. The tackler was Wayne Pearce. To Ross. He was South's leading point scorer last year, Mark Ross, and is the leading try scorer so far this season. Pass was just delayed a little bit too long.
Territorially, South's having an enjoyable first few minutes of this match. Balmain have been under pressure. On a couple of occasions they've had to relieve the pressure with some very well-placed kicks. And we did see a fine attacking movement, only for Davidson to lose the ball. But there's a good break out wide.
That's Wayne Pearce, and he's got support inside. Kicking downfield is Wayne Innes, and he's got plenty of pace, but not enough pace for Niscott, who's well in front of him now. And Ziggy's got a good bounce. Ziggy Niscott just about carrying Wayne Innes upfield. Steve Walsh. Caught by Martin. South's turning defence into attack.
Tremendous football. Well done, Ziggy Niscott.
Murray. Smith. I like the way Pete Smith gets back on side so quickly, and he's ready to run onto the ball from a long way back. Rampling. Terry Regan and centre Wayne Miranda, the tacklers. Murray. Inside was Metcalf. Stewart falling on it. To Rampling. Tony Melrose. That's not a bad kick. He's placed that well out of the way of Gary Jack.
Be all right, providing the South's players get up and don't let him move.
Gary Jack, formerly with Wollongong Western Suburbs before a season with Western Sydney last year. Steve Martin. That's Gary Webster. One-handed pass is intercepted by Brennan. To Simpkins. Murray. Past Hambley, and that's Melrose running out wide. He had no support though. He was always going to be tackled out wide. Hambley, Murray, Smith, and Stewart. And Rampling got it to Walsh. Here's a chance. Walsh with a corner inside. Caught beautifully by Gary Jack. Kick through and they play the ball. The penalty will go to South. Well, Tony Melrose attempting the penalty goal for South Sydney. There are 3 or 4 good kickers in the South side, but he's been designated as the #1 kicker. Melrose from the quarter line. Looks all right, but slightly away, Gary Jack. And he had his foot on the dead ball line. He wants to play on. The touch judges are waving it dead.
Here comes Tony Melrose now to attempt the kick. It goes high in the air. Gary Jack positioned back. Oh, he's obviously taken the ball in the air and come down with 1 foot on the line.
Well, we've got the ball dropped out by Balmain, and Souths have got it in Balmain's territory. Second rower, Peter Smith. Murray, Hambley.
Once again, we see South Sydney putting the pressure on Balmain. Tigers finding it very hard to get out of their territory.
That's Tony Rampling.
The secret of South's success too is they bunch up at times and then they feed out, as we're seeing now. The ball going across the back line.
Smith. And that'll be a penalty against Balmain, or against South Sydney. Not a bad kick by Martin. He's found touch about 7 metres inside South's territory. This is the first chance Balmain have had really in South's half with the ball.
They look
Whittaker.
good with the ball, Balmain. They, particularly out on the flanks. Of course, what they must do is what they did last week, and that's to hold it for at least 5 tackles.
Gary Webster to play at midway quarter line, halfway. Whittaker, Martin, Bridge, Hemsley. Out wide was Pearce, and he gave it to Miranda. Pearce, Martin, Regan, Webster, I should say Hemsley. Winger Davidson. That's Ryan. Plenty of experience in this man. Whittaker, 1 to go. Martin, that's Webster. Good strong tackle, lovely tackle from Mitch Brennan.
Souths have got it this time. Oddly enough, the error count is 3 Souths way and Balmain only 1. Souths territorially have had the best advantage in this first half. Balmain the last few minutes did enjoy attacking, but unable to continue the pressure. But Souths again, they're incredible that they're all bunched in the middle of the field. They do this, they turn the ball back inside, then they have a tendency to fill out again, as we'll see that's happening all now, where I expect the ball to travel across this back line.
Ken Stewart. Gary Metcalf giving it to Gary Bridge.
Another error, and that's not good for South. They can't keep the pressure up.
Kerry Hemsley is on halfway. Gets a one-handed pass back. Whittaker and Martin. There is no back line there for Balmain. It's gone to fullback Jack. To Wigham. Martin. Turning it back to Wigham. Trevor Ryan, and look at that South defence. They were well up offside. Question is the range beyond Wayne Miranda? Here he is, long way out, looks good. Good kick, it's there. Balmain first points, 2-0.
Yes, and the scoring, of course, is against the trend of play, because it's been Souths territorially really putting the pressure on Balmain. But Balmain have been quite content to kick the ball in an effort to get out of their territory, but on each occasion Souths have been able to bring the ball up and put pressure on the Balmain defence.
Walsh gives it to Niscott and to Melrose. To Niscott. Stewart, Murray, Hambley. Kenny Stewart. He's always good for 5 or 6 metres when he goes from dummy half. Doesn't run unless he can make ground. Hambley. Balmain defending pretty well. 1 tackle to go. Patterson. Simpkins. Regan taking him low, but he got out of the tackle, and Simpkins down to the quarter line. Good support inside. David Boyle. Down to the quarter line. There'll be a scrum put down in that position.
This game's very much a defensive game, as is obvious by the scores, with Balmain having a handy lead of 2 points to 0. Still no tries on the board. And this will help Balmain out of trouble.
Well, any number of reasons for a penalty there. It went against the South Sydney hooker Kenny Stewart, but the Balmain front row collapsed, and the feed was a little bit dubious too. Good kick from Martin. Up to halfway. Neil Whittaker goes to dummy half for Balmain. Hemsley. Whittaker. Martin. Ryan. Miranda gets a long one to Wiggum. Wiggum's made a good break. Wiggum caught by Simpkins. Ninnis. Martin. Miranda. Pearce. 2 prop rowers, prop forwards. Metcalf and Hambley tackling. It's Martin. Hemsley. And finding a break, that's Whittaker giving it away. Miranda gives it to Gary Jack, and he slips. On the blind side, Hemsley. Well taken by Davidson, but he's not going to score from there. So the scrum penalty awarded to South Sydney, 10 metres out from their goal line. David Boyle put down by Whittaker. It's about 15 metres from halfway. Hambley, Regan and Ryan. Metcalf. There's been some pretty solid defence in this game. Mitch Brennan got through the tackle of Gary Bridge, and Brennan's got pace to burn. Got Jack to beat. And Wayne Pearce there to fall on him. Balmain came up with it.
My word, and that's Gary Jack once again, and that's the second try that he's saved there for Balmain, and great run there by Brennan. But good defensive work from the Balmain fullback.
It's Gary Webster unloading to Martin. Boyle, number 24, putting him down. 15 metres from halfway. Whittaker, Hemsley, Pearce, and Wiggum putting it down. Tackle count starts again, and away it goes. Whittaker inside, that's Gary Bridge. Wiggum, Miranda. Balmain starting to look good, but he's lost the ball. That's Mark Ross, chased by Martin. Now Ross running over to link up with Niscott. And Walsh. Walsh has got Rampling. This is a good opportunity. Steve Walsh overhead pass. Ziggy Niscott is in the corner. Oh my word, he was lucky to put that down. It's a try, but only just.
Try was scored from an error from the Balmain side where they lose possession. It's
Neil Whittaker starting and going, and it's this run by Gary Bridge that sees the ball go loose. Turn inside and drop there by Wayne Miranda. Mark Ross.
Yes, he runs right across the field. It's a great run by Ross. You can see Steve Walsh in support there. Walsh again looking to pass out wide to Niscott. He holds that Balmain defence back, but it's Niscott. Watch when he puts this ball down. Makes contact.
And from head on, you'll see this is Mark Ross taking it across field, and he's going to link up. You'll notice that Steve Walsh appears on his inside here as he steps in off that foot. Now Steve Walsh takes the pass, and then he draws Regan out of the defence, runs it around, and then links up with Niscott out to his left-hand side once more. Now, the interesting part is Niscott wanted to run it around behind the posts, and Gary Jack takes him almost out over the dead ball line with this tackle. And the conversion attempt is successful, and so Souths advance to a lead of 5 points to 2. Ken Stewart knocking the ball backwards. Regan was on top of him. Murray, Rampling. Murray, Patterson, Ross.
Runs very hard, this fellow, leaving his right wing.
Metcalf. Brennan taken at the last moment in that tackle. It's Terry Regan. Murray making the brace with Simpkins and Patterson and Niscott. Try number 2 coming up for Ziggy Niscott. He's got winger John Davidson to beat as he brings it around. 2 tries in the space of a minute and a half to Zig Niscott. South have got a lead of 8 points to 2. And is this the opening of the floodgates for the Balmain defence, who have tried so valiantly so far to keep South out of this game?
This is great understanding here from the half and 5/8. Murray to Patterson. Patterson standing up in the tackle. Patterson letting it out wide now with Niscott. And of course there's no Balmain defence whatsoever, and it's a matter of Niscott just coming around and putting the ball down for his second try.
And there are the theorists who believe that there should be a scry theoretically from every scrum that is put down, as it's only man-to-man defence. And that was Simpkins giving it to Patterson. And once Patterson found Niscott virtually unmarked out wide, Niscott was always going to score on that run of about 45 metres. What a match he's had, Ziggy Niscott. 2 tries in a minute and a half. And Steve Martin resumes play after the conversion attempt by Melrose was unsuccessful. The score is still 8 points to 2 in favour of Souths, 4 minutes before the half-time. This is Stewart.
Been some very solid defensive play in the match so far, both packs ripping into each other, and no beg your pardons at all, but it's noticeable that both sides, when they get that ball out wide, out to their backs in the centres, the breaks are made. And it's, of course, South Sydney have scored their 2 tries on the left flank, and I would say they must be the tactics that they employ in the second half. Balmain also have got to get away from the South Sydney forwards. Of course, it's very important that Balmain get more of the ball.
Steve Walsh, 6 tackles against Souths, scrum to go down. Scrum penalty. Across field, we've got Wayne Pearce on the ground receiving attention from the Balmain trainer for a knee injury. Just getting to his feet slowly. And is this the opportunity for Balmain before the half-time whistle? Davidson. Well, this could be dangerous for Souths, so close to the half-time break. If Balmain can keep it, even if they can't penetrate the defence, they've got the option of putting the bomb up. And they're close enough to the posts to have it succeed. Martin. Webster. No one wanted it. Gary Jack. This is about 20 metres out. Whittaker. Well, he knows the score now. 2 tackles to go, and he's right in front of the posts. There's the bomb from Martin. They've chased it through. Gary Bridge is waiting. Down it comes. Anybody's ball in goal. It's a try. Gary Bridge has scored.
Good kick by Stevie Martin. Terrible kick as far as Souths are concerned. They're looking down right under the post there. Players go up. Several players going up. Anyone's ball. The ball does go on the ground. But Gary Bridge right on the spot. Falls on it for a very important Balmain try.
And what a time for it to happen for Balmain. So close to the half-time break, because the conversion attempt should send them in trailing by only 1 point at the break. Up it goes, and the ball bounces off a Souths player, and Gary Bridge is there to dive on it next to the posts. And Wayne Miranda from right in front adds the extras, and so the score is 8 points to 7.
That was the last score on the first half, and obviously a very defensive game in that first half, and I believe it must continue in the second. There's nothing in it. There's only 1 point the difference, and I believe that Souths would be wise to use the kick, as did Balmain in that first half. If anything, I think we're going to see the fullbacks come into the back line. With such good defence and strong defence, it's going to be very hard to breach the defensive situation. I do expect that Gary Jack for Balmain, the fullback, will chime in well, and Steve Walsh for Souths could well decide the issue in this match.
And the second half sees the kick-off by Balmain's halfback Steve Martin. Ken Stewart, the recipient of a good tackle there too from Trevor Ryan. And a replacement on in the Balmain back line. There's been a reshuffle that I'll tell you about in just a second, with Mick Patterson unloading. Balmain come up with it. Wayne Miranda has moved out onto the wing, and Olsen Filipana, who's got number 15, is on in the centres. Terry Hemsley. Gary Webster put down. Now this is Miranda from the wing. Hemsley. Martin. Ryan. Bridge. Martin. Out wide. It's Wigham stepping through. Caught over the top by prop forward Gary Metcalf. 1 to go. The bomb was successful before half-time. What about now? Steve Martin's kick, a high one, but it's too long. Should go dead. Well, it does now. Well, no try. It was close. Melrose kick goes to Jack on the full. Whittaker. Regan. He had the right idea. He was a long way back when he ran onto it, but he's lost it. Boyle. He's the first half replacement for second rower Peter Smith. Hambley. Got away from Webster and Hemsley, so it took Regan to drag him down. Murray. Simpkins. It was a good tackle from Gary Bridge. Patterson. Now that's 5 tackles against South. Stewart and Rampling. Good support. Mitch Brennan. Brennan's got support inside. Nice little weave and a good tackle eventually by Gary Jack to end 6 tackles for Souths. Balmain are going to be in trouble now because their halfback Steve Martin won't be able to tend the scrum base here. He's on the open side of the scrum. Gary Bridge is going to have to come in to feed it. It doesn't look good for Steve Martin. He's gone to a standoff position. Gary Bridge has fed the scrum well. Plenty of weight from the South pack. They're steamrolling Balmain, but they've got the ball.
Balmain needed that too, because with Steve Martin at 5'8", obviously carrying that shoulder, he would have obviously been the man to run to.
Wayne Miranda on the wing. Bridge, Martin, Hemsley. These Balmain forwards are just walking now. They're not moving up to the ball carrier. Martin, Webster. It's Whittaker. I think Balmain are missing Steve Lavers today. Martin, inside was Whittaker. That'll be second rower Regan. Caught by Melrose. Murray wins the scrum for South Sydney, 5 metres inside his own half. To Simpkins, Patterson, Niscott. Walsh, Patterson, Simpkins, that's David Boyle.
A very tight game this, nothing in it. South still sticking to their slender lead of 8 points to 7, but very much a defensive game, and we're still seeing it now, and I just wonder which team will have the stamina to see this game out.
Patterson. Terry Hemsley's been doing a lot in defence for Balmain today. Mitch Brennan. Wayne Pearce and Gary Bridge putting him down. That'll be 6 tackles for a scrum.
Balmain feed, Balmain ball.
Gary Jack from fullback standing up on the blind side.
This Balmain forwards are very slow to get off the ground.
Pearce. David Boyle, 24. Whittaker. Martin. Regan. There'll be a penalty. Well, it took 3 of them to put Regan on the ground. He got the penalty and he got a few other things as well. You notice this,
the 3 players coming up to knock him down, and Regan stays in the tackle here, trying to get him down on the ground, and Hamley is penalised.
Steve Martin finds touch. Miranda. Playing it to Neil Whittaker, nicknamed Jack. Gary Webster. Good tackle from Boyle. Filipana. And Souths have got it in a good position for them in front of their own posts. Only 1 point the difference in this match, 8-7, and the next scorer could well win this match. Mark Ross held without the ball, and he'll get a penalty too. You'll notice that Mitch Brennan goes to throw the pass to him, and Mark Ross is taken out of the game there by Bridge before he'd even secured possession. Tony Rampling. Stewart. Rampling, Murray. You don't find Graham Murray making many errors like that in a game.
Well, he's redeemed it for Souths. But this is a replica of the first half, where territorially Souths enjoyed it. Now Souths are finding it very hard to get out of their own territory. Balmain defence has them tied down pretty well here. I feel sure that they're going to have to use the kick and kick deep.
Robert Simpkins has the ball reached away by his opposite number. Gary Bridge, caught by Stewart. To Martin, Webster. Whittaker, Martin, Hemsley. Steve Martin trying to burrow through.
He's all over the place, isn't he?
Gary Jack up from fullback. Ryan. The Bridge. Filipana and Wigham. Balmain in the most unorthodox positions on the field. We've got centres and fullbacks and 5/8 going to dummy half. It's a bit hard to find the forwards. Ziggy Niscott. Now there he's being marked by a winger. Niscott knocked to the ground by Pearce. Murray, Hambley, caught by Hemsley, and the ball's gone loose from Boyle. Balmain have got it through Martin, stepping around Stewart, but not around Metcalf. Now look, where are these Balmain forwards? Kick through them, there's no one behind the ruck at all.
They're walking.
Whittaker. Well, I think if you'd ever like to take the measure of the fitness of these two sides, now would be the time to do it. Martin, Filipana, stepping out of tackles.
He's enjoying his match. Very hard man to bring down.
Back to Gary Bridge, Martin, Ryan, Jack, Gary Jack the fullback. Regan. Pedley walking off the mark. And it looks like a replacement to come on. And it's Dean Rampling coming on. And he'll be replacing the replacement second rower, David Boyle. David Boyle off after replacing Peter Smith. And Dean Rampling is on the field in jersey number 26. Hambley. Murray. Rampling. Dean. Murray. Patterson. Back to Steve Walsh. Gary Metcalf. And Tony Melrose. One-handed pass behind play. Wayne Miranda for Balmain.
South have been making a lot of errors in their last three movements, and they're losing their opportunity by giving the ball back to Balmain.
Hemsley. Tony Rampling and Gary Hambley putting him down. Metcalf, Martin, kicking, and we haven't seen much of that from Balmain. Why don't they kick more after a one like that?
I agree with you, Alan, very much so. In fact, why Souths pinned down to their territory for many minutes, why they haven't kicked prior to this?
Ken Stewart right down on the ground as he won the scrum. Robert Simpkins is 15 metres out. It's Gary Metcalf, who's gone to the second row now with Dean Rampling on. It looks like another change coming out for South shortly too. Mitch Brennan barreled. Here's a chance. Wayne Wigham. What a superb tackle. Terry Regan putting him down. Now an overlap. Can they make use of it? Trevor Ryan. Got it to Martin. They've still got a chance. Martin giving it out, and in goes Davidson to score. An unbelievable try that really happened with that last tackle on Mitch Brennan. It all happened with that superb tackle on Brennan, and Balmain hit the front. Well, we pick it up with Balmain in possession. Here's how they've scored the try.
Ryan going on his own there, but looking for someone to support, throws it wide. Play is still allowed to continue. Martin throws a beautiful dummy onto Davidson. Davidson goes in for a magnificent try.
Well, Balmain have got possession here with Wigan picking it up, and it's gone out from Gary Bridge. Steve Martin gave it out. Trevor Ryan looked as though he was caught there by Simpkins. But then it's gone out wider with Steve Martin chiming in again. The beautifully timed pass went out to Davidson to score. Miranda, difficult kick. It's pretty straight and just falls over. Superb kick from Wayne Miranda, and Balmain go further ahead to a lead of 12 points to 8. Miranda putting it back over Walsh's head. Didn't get a good bounce. It's gone right back to the goal line. He's got Martin up there and Wigham. Wigham chasing him and gets him. Well, now Balmain know where to play it. Mitch Brennan, the South skipper, making a break up the middle, looking for support, coming in past Pearce, who gets the ball. Now Brennan was hurt in that tackle. Mitch Brennan still on the ground. Wayne Pearce got him in the tackle and got the ball. Balmain really turning it on for their supporters here at Leichhardt today, and they're enjoying it immensely. Filipana. It seems a few moments ago we were talking about how tired the Balmain side looked, but they've really been rejuvenated with that last try.
Yes, they've been set alight, and they've all stemmed from that magnificent tackle. But now they've obviously can see that they've hit the lead now. There's 4 points of difference. If they can get any further points on the board, they'll be very hard to toss. Time running out.
So that's another handy penalty for the Tigers, and let's get a check on the statistics again from Gary Cook.
Yes, Alan, the penalties are favouring Balmain 9-8. Sorry, the scrums are 9-8 in favour of Balmain. Penalties are 11-10 in favour of Souths, and the errors have crept up, particularly for South Sydney, to 11-6.
I've got serious doubts as to whether Mitch Brennan will be able to continue in this game. He's still receiving attention. Balmain have got the ball across the field through Regan. Martin, Filipana. Brennan getting to his feet slowly. Balmain have got the ball. Ryan, inside, that's Wigham. Inside to Whittaker. Offside against Balmain.
Leading the field for South Sydney, ladies and gentlemen. The replacement player is Nathan Gibbs.
That's Dean Rambling who's going to play the ball. Murray making a good little break. So looking at the replacements in this match, for South Sydney, Peter Smith initially replaced by David Boyle. David Boyle has since been replaced by Dean Rampling wearing number 26. Lock forward Robert Simpkins is off. He's been replaced by Shane Arneal in number 22. Mitch Brennan is off. He's been replaced by Nathan Gibbs in jersey 21. In the Balmain side, Wayne Innes, the winger, is off. Wayne Miranda's gone to the wing, and Olsen Filipana is on in the centres in number 15. Murray, Hambley. I don't know how many times Gary Hambley's played lock forward. He's standing out as South get the scrum penalty against Martin.
The 10th scrum penalty of the match, and this has certainly been a problem area for referee Jack Danzy.
So Souths have got about 8 minutes to win this match. Ziggy Niscott doing his best to score that hat-trick of tries. Shane Arneal. Murray. Patterson. Murray. Gibbs. Gary Metcalf. Right in front of the post. One tackle to go. Back to Stewart. Melrose kick for the corner. South pouring through. It's too long. Wayne Miranda going high and knocking it out over the dead ball line, but it would have been too long anyway.
Made this game very hard to throw the ball around and very hard to step. And as such, we've seen a very bruising defensive match on both sides. It's still anyone's game, but it's very nice to be 12 points to 8 at this stage, and that's in Balmain's favour.
Ball dropped.
Another error at South Sydney there, and as Gary mentioned, the errors have been sneaking up on South's statistics, and I believe that's let them down. It's surrendered possession to Balmain, and in a game like this, when there's very little between the two teams, you just can't do that.
Hemsley. Regan.
Well, Balmain now, of course, will try to close this game up. They must hold the ball. Trevor Ryan almost losing it over his shoulder there, but with time getting away, Balmain are leading by 4 points, and they've got to close it up.
Martin. That's Regan. 6 tackles.
Both sides desperate for possession, and now Souths have got the ball. With time running out, Souths have got to get back down into Balmain's territory.
Martin going low in the tackle.
Souths have got to try things. Balmain, on the other hand, just got to play it tight, nothing fancy. But Souths must let the ball go.
Dean Rampling playing it to Stewart. Murray. And he's lost the ball. That's Gary Bridge. Nathan Gibbs losing it. Hemsley, who's probably been the most consistent of the Balmain forwards today. He's kept taking it up strongly and has done a power of tackling.
This fellow's played very well too, Terry Regan. He certainly plays it hard, both in attack. He's been taking that ball up the centre all day. Wayne Pearce. Stevie Martin's had an outstanding game. He's been at it. He's been setting up his outside backs, always looking for the gap in the South's defence and working hard. Gary Jack at fullback. He saved those earlier tries when South looked like going in. He had at least 3 magnificent tackles.
Well, there's a good pass that's gone to Gary Jack, the man you were speaking about. He's come inside Walsh, who's just got him. Gary Jack on the far side, caught by Steve Walsh. Infielder comes, Filipana, Martin. Over the head of Bridge, out to Regan. Did well to handle it. 6 tackles gone. Scrum feeders by Graham Murray.
Wayne Pearce getting a very big ovation as he leaves the field, and rightly so. South trying desperately to give this ball back to Balmain again. But again, 4 marks to Balmain. They've stuck to their guns. They were doing it tough there. Just prior to half-time, they were in lots of trouble. But then in the 39.5 minutes of that first half, Balmain scored a try. And it was scored by Gary Bridge after a Martin bomb, and that brought them to within 1 point at half-time. And of course, they've scored the only points in this second half. It looks very much like they're going to take the game out. As I said, Stevie Martin, a great game. Wayne Pearce, tremendous tackling. Regan, Ryan, it was a great effort. And also Hemsley and Webster taking that ball up to the South's defence all the time. And the South's performer, well, Ziggy Niscott, he scored 2 tries, had an outstanding game. Graham Murray has tried hard all day. Tony Rampling, tremendous amount of tackling. But overall, Balmain, well done. 4 marks to them.
And Steve Martin has beaten Patterson to the ball. And he's got a big grin on his face about it too. Gary Jack. Martin, the dummy half. He realises his forwards are slowing down and he's getting in there to do as much of the work himself, Martin. This is Regan. Big Wayne Wigham, he doesn't mind doing his share of the work either. He's big enough to do it. Jack, Bridge I should say, Martin, putting up the bomb, chased through there by Winger Davidson, up he goes, and well taken Walsh. A penalty to Souths. In front of the kicker, those players. 2 minutes to go. Souths have got the penalty 5 metres out. Souths trailing by 4 points. They've got less than 2 minutes now to score a converted try to win this match. Murray to Melrose. Dean Rampling. Ball lost by Tony Rampling. Souths have still got it. Murray. Patterson. Wider is Gibbs. Nathan Gibbs. Dean Rampling. Tackler was Gary Webster. Stewart. Murray. Patterson. Just been encircled now by this Balmain defence, who realise they've got this game won, and they've got Souths 12 metres in their own territory with less than a minute to go now. Patterson. And there's one tackle to go. Murray. Patterson. Out quickly. Shane Arneal. Very worried South Sydney coach Bill Anderson, knowing that the game is up for the day with 30 seconds to go. Straightening the scrum up. Won by Balmain. Martin. Hardwick. Miranda. And the full-time siren to go now, with Balmain having won this game. Martin. Has the ball. It's all over. Balmain causing another upset here today, defeating South Sydney.
Balmain's winning margin 4 points. They won by 12 points to 8. For Balmain, scorers were Bridge and Davidson. Miranda kicked all 3 shots at goal. For South Sydney, Niscott scored 2 tries in the first half. Melrose landed only 1 out of 3. Had he been on target, the scores might have been tied. Balmain won the scrums 12-10, but Souths were favoured in the penalties by 14-10. Well, the turning point of the match came 24 minutes into the second half. Souths at that stage held their half-time lead of 8-7 when we saw this fabulous tackle by Olsen Filipana on Mitch Brennan. He really knocked him right out of the game. Brennan lost possession, and with the ball loose on the ground, Balmain were able to snap it up through Wayne Wigham and then go on and score the match-winning try. That was the turning point. They converted the try and ran out winners by 12 points to 8. Well, of the 4 tries that were scored, which was the best? Reg.
I thought the best try of the day was scored by Ziggy Niscott 6 minutes before half-time. The South Sydney winger really finished off a magnificent movement after some great ball work by Simpkins, and Simpkins standing up in the tackle there looking for Patterson. Patterson, there's Niscott out on that left-hand side, beats the Balmain defence, and he goes through for a magnificent try. All the way for his second try.
The man of the match undoubtedly was Steve Martin, the Balmain halfback. He had a fine game around the rucks with his generalship and also some great tactical kicking. He also set up both tries that Balmain scored in this match and capped off a fine performance.
Well, there it is, a great day for the Balmain Tigers. They not only won all 3 grades here at Leichhardt, they won 2 out of the 3 junior representative fixtures played today, giving them 5 wins in 6 matches for the day. In first grade at Leichhardt Oval, Balmain surprising South Sydney, winning by 12 points to 8.